Greetings, fellow Gothamites. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And we're back to cover episode 20 of season 3 of Fox's retelling of the Dark Knight mythology, entitled Pretty Hate Machine. So join us as we venture into Batman's birthplace.
And explore Gotham.
What the hell is going on in this show, Dragon? I need an adult. I need an adult. Oh my god. What did I just want? You see, Dragon, let's just set this up.
Yeah, because it's been a while. Let's remind the folks why Dickie's having this reaction.
Yeah, folks. So I kind of just, I was really busy when the last few episodes of Gotham were coming out. I let them slip by, basically the last 5, so Dragon and I have been covering them since, of course, we're very late. You know, the finale aired a few weeks ago at this point, almost a month ago now. So we're very late to the party, but we're trying to at least do something fun with this, at least, you know, something to make up for the fact that we're really late. So we're not just going to recap. We're going to get my first reactions to the madness, Dragon. And let me tell you, I have some snarky notes that we're going to have some fun with. Because I basically turned my notes into like a riff track. However, having said that, Dragon, I just want to clarify, this episode is so weird because I hated the first half, all right? Like, the first half, I was ready to call it easily the worst episode of season 3. And then the second half happened, and I was like, God damn it! This stuff is really good! You know what I mean? Like, all the stuff with Gordon and and Bruce and Alfred especially. I think this is Alfred's shining episode. Like, I think this might be the best Alfred episode of the whole series so far. So Alfred really saved it for me in a lot of ways. But, oh man, Dragon, oh god, there's just so much going on in this show. Let's just dive right into it. Where do we start?
Well, I just want to also set up the fact that just going into this episode, folks, at this point in the show, when I was like kind of like teasing what the episodes were like for Tiki, I based on the ending, starting with the ending from last episode where Lee injects herself, and especially after I saw this, I reaffirmed to Tiki that if I described to him what happens in this episode as we're about to go through, he wouldn't believe me. I was just saying, like, Tiki, you wouldn't believe me if I tried to even describe the stuff that's going on.
It's pretty crazy.
As we board the crazy train all the way to the end on this one.
Woo, woo.
Okay, so getting into it.
Okay, so we make a pretty bold entry here where we have Dragon. What is his official name? Is he Ducard? Is he the master? Is he what, the leader?
Okay, well, his official name is, we're gonna find out, is Sensei, but
Sensei. All right, thank you. I'll just call him Sensei.
Yeah, it's Shaman Sensei, but it is actually Sensei, so it's
all right. So Sensei is basically telling off the entire court, you know, about the Wayne murders and whatnot.
Previous episode when Bruce was kind of getting over his basically, Bruce is kind of locking away the pain of his parents' murder, thanks to the kind of shaman / sensei here. He basically showed a memory of his in which the court vows they jumped the gun, they killed off the Wayne, they killed off the Wayne family against the shaman's wishes, against the shaman and his boss's wishes, which made him really ticked off. And now this is him fulfilling his promise to Bruce that we're going to get justice for your parents' murder.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So basically, they have a little meeting with the court, and you're right, he's having at it about the Wayne murder. Like, they really. He's passing judgment for the Wayne murder.
And he's not the one that's going to pass judgment, though. It's Bruce that's there to pass judgment. Dun, dun, dun.
The court's trying to...
And it's not Doppel Bruce either, folks. Doppel Bruce is just randomly dropped off the show to hang out with Harvey Dent.
There's a spinoff for you.
Doppel and Harvey. God.
Am I seeing double, or is that double?
Jeez. Oh, that amused me so much. Oh god. Okay.
Anyway, so the point is, you gotta remember too, and what we saw with locking the pain of the parents' murder away from the previous episodes. So that means Bruce now essentially he's under the shaman's control here. Essentially, he's kind of clay to be molded at, per his own words.
Yes. Not Clayface.
No, that's. He was Jim Gordon the last we saw. No, actually he went from Jim Gordon to Paul Rubens last time we saw him.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, so the court's trying to make their case, and I understand the court's perspective from a little bit here. Basically, they're reminding him that Thomas Wayne threatened to expose the court, but then of course he just confronts him with the whole, and Bruce then makes his awesome entrance. And what about my mother?
What about Martha?
Yeah. And of course, the court's starting to really kind of sweat here. Say, why is Bruce Wayne here? We don't like we don't want this guy here. He's always like the big cog in the wheel. We don't want him here. What's going on?
Right.
Maybe Catherine was the only one to know about Bruce Wayne. Who knows? Anyway, so the point is, of course, Catherine, R.I.P. So
I miss her, man. I just want to point that out. I feel like this show kind of pulled a Maroney.
She did go out in style, though. A lot better.
She did. Yeah.
She had a better death than Maroney.
Oh God.
Because at least she died in like the old school Corvallis fashion, decapitation by execution.
I'm just thinking of the Maroney death again, and it's just
it was really stupid.
Yeah,
that's a shame too, because really, of course, we like David Zayas.
Oh, he was great. He was one of the most fun actors in season.
And unfortunately, with him died any hopes of Two-Face. So.
Right. Anyways.
Anyway, so basically, Bruce Wayne, as the shaman says, Bruce Wayne specifically is here to pass judgment, which is, of course, befitting, given they were his parents.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, the court's just trying to make like their last pleas here. Basically, well, the shaman wasn't around, so they had to make their own decisions. I mean, while he is, of course, the leader of the court, I mean, he wasn't always around, so they had to make executive decisions without him. Decisions had to be made, and we are the ruling council, as one of our lead guys of the ruling council here tries to make their point. And they stand by their actions. In doing so, it's up to Bruce.
Also, I should probably wave this around for dramatic effect. Ooh. I do like this. It's really cool to see all the masks and everything in this set, as always.
And it takes me back to so many great scenes from the Corvallis book when they're all sitting around the table with the mask on, especially, again, the payoff of this episode. So right. We have some really great lines. Again, the shaman has always had these great lines where he says, you knelt in their blood that night in the alley. Basically, you were kneeling in their blood that night in the alley. Let blood avenge blood.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's just such a great. They wrote him and Catherine so well. They were such a great representation.
I know. It was like they almost kind of like, I don't want to say Shakespearean, but it's kind of the only way I can describe it. Almost
feels very operatic, very theatrical.
Yeah, operatic is a good word.
Maybe theatrical is the best term. Yeah, it's like they feel so theatrical and it's awesome. Anyway, so then Bruce just kind of nods along with it, basically gives the order, and then the towns kind of walk in, and then of course sentencing is passed.
Oh yeah. Now this was kind of shocking for me, Dragon. What do you feel about it?
Well, here's what I'm feeling about. One,
it's basically Batman committing a murder for all intents and purposes.
I know, believe me, but
mass murder.
Based on the fact that he's under mind control. That's another reason I could really. But it was giving me some hesitation on it. That was like,
I know that's the first thing I was thinking about. Like I was like, oh God, are we going into Batfleck territory here?
I mean, I like, again, it is justified that, again, he's not really in his right frame of mind, but he is motivating his actions here by, again, this is like kind of Bruce airing those vengeful thoughts about his parents. Again, he hasn't really directed his mission yet, so we have that. So there is truth in what Bruce is kind of commanding here, and he didn't exactly give the order. He just didn't stop him from kind of carrying it out. So regardless, it's the fact that...
Yeah, that's true, because he kind of beats himself up about not directly giving the order later.
Yeah, now, ordinarily, and we'll get more of this later on, but let's just say, ordinarily with Batman, there's always a little thing I have with Batman when he's under mind control. I love it best.
The mind control pass.
What?
The patented and Blue Dragon 5 approved mind control pass.
My point is, usually I'll give the mind control pass when when Batman, he either at the last minute or the whole time he's been faking it, or like he can break through the mind control. I always hate when Batman's like completely susceptible to mind control. So eventually we're going to see a point where we're going to kind of allude to that more.
Okay.
But regardless, I'm saying they were kind of skirting by that's kind of a touchy thing with like Batman under mind control.
Right.
Let's see how this goes. So I was kind of wondering, but again, they're motivated by actions, and it kind of gives us the ending of the Corvallis book, where essentially the court, they kind of commit suicide in the book. They drink the poison like ceremonial wine or something. But regardless, like we get kind of later on, we're gonna get that cool shot of like the dead Corval members wearing the mask all around the table, which is really cool.
So Bruce is just I'm sorry, the shaman says, "You hesitated, Bruce." Bruce is like, "Next time I won't. I know you won't." And I must say, really good, very shocking, but really good cold open. I mean, this is, this show isn't afraid to get violent, man. That's one thing I always respect about it. You know what I mean? And, like, when they need to show some throats getting slit, they show the throats getting slit.
Oh yeah, and again, just with the kind of this whole plot line of Bruce, and just kind of what I do love the best comparison I've been using for these couple episodes with the shaman is it's very much kind of like an Anakin going to the dark side. It really is. It's that it's Bruce being seduced by kind of not exactly the Corval's ways, but as we're finding kind of the head of the Corval's. He's being seduced by this darker path of like he wants justice and closure. So these actions aren't. Again, they aren't completely his, but still, there's some conflicted feelings there. But he's really getting to kind of live out some dark urges here. Like he's wanted justice for 3 seasons now. He's cut off the head of the snake. He thinks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's and I think after this we hit a really interesting thing with Bruce's arc and something especially to consider going into season 4. I'll say is that now the court's done. The court was again the top banana as far as he's concerned. It's the how is he going to proceed after the court's done? I think that question is going to be something that kind of haunts him in these next couple episodes. Like what do I do after the murder of after I've avenged my parents' murders? There's going to be an emptiness that Bruce is going to have to fill, which of course
right. Even as he's under mind control, he still kind of feels that emptiness a little bit.
Absolutely. So that's just kind of what I'm going to hit on with the opening. And also, I'll get more of my Corval stuff by the very end, just kind of reflecting on the Corvals in the whole. So I'll just move on.
Of course. Okay, so let's see. So the GCPD arrived at the scene where the murders just took place. I like how Gordon's talking to the dying Cordoval member, and he's like, "Traitor, traitor. Yeah, I'm a traitor." Let's see. This guy kind of reveals. I'm not sure exactly what wording he uses, but basically reveals that Bruce had something to do with what happened.
Yeah, basically, the leader and Bruce Wayne did this to him. Importantly, placing Bruce Wayne there was they're also looking for Bruce Wayne, but also it seems like Bruce Wayne might be complicit in some bad stuff, which obviously is raising some flags with Alfred. Alfred's immediately calling BS. Bruce Wayne would not kill.
And I gotta say, man, like as I said, I think this episode is super strong for Alfred.
Well, Alfred, he's on a really strong track for the next couple episodes. I mean, he's easy. They get Alfred really right in these last.
Nice. Okay, and of course, so let's see. So they're basically systematically going over the map on the Crystal Owl, kind of like the Dragon. I'm sorry, it reminds me of the Force Awakens and the map and R2-D2 and everything.
Come
like
on.
That. No, I'm saying that in a good way. Okay.
All right. Anyway, so just the process of elimination getting us there. It's Bulk's question: why would they kill their own counsel? I mean, we gotta assume Gordon's bringing up. We gotta assume the bomb plan's still on. It looks like they're cleaning house instead of just completely kind of calling everything off. It's all on chaos. So the bomb thing is still like they're operating. That we gotta stop the bomb, which leads us, of course, to the Crystal Owl map.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, and then they're also kind of suspicious about Lee, right?
Well, initially it's established just that they filled in some blanks here we didn't see. Basically, when we went to find the dead court members, the idea is we've gone to all the other locations. We've also I think they hint at other locations filled with ruling council members or other Court of Owls members that have been found dead. Again, very much like the book. So, the point is they've gone to they've checked all the locations. That's the thing. They checked all locations, all dead members, so no sign of anything. So no bomb either. Gordon recommends running identification. Run IDs on them. Check the holdings. You basically follow leads of the dead court members we can find, identify them, see if we can find any leads. Like we did with essentially what we did with Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Alfred's very impatient. He's doing. We had this great bit with Alfred. He's really strong in the episode. We're getting to the lead theme, so there's one last thing. With Alfred.
Yeah, it's fine.
Alfred's. He's very impatient. Gordon's saying, look, we're doing all we can. Again, this is kind of the classic runaround of why we need a Batman. That again, Jim Gordon's man just works with what he has, and then unfortunately, in the GCPD in Gotham, many times it's not enough. And Alfred has this great line saying, "If only that were enough." Again, just that cynicism we had from the very beginning of Gotham between Alfred and Gordon. Like Gordon's a good guy, and Alfred recognizes that, but still, he's a good guy in a system that's not going to improve just by one guy.
Yeah, like you said, really, really strong stuff from Alfred. They really characterize them.
Yeah, they had no idea.
They show the grief on on corrupting Bruce's moral code with Alfred really well.
Oh, absolutely. You can show him Pertwee's just he's knocking out the ballpark these couple episodes coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, no idea where Bruce is, and then they get a beat on Leah. Lee's returned to they had Uni's post outside of Lee's place, and she's returned to her brownstone.
Gotcha.
Bulk's just kind of questioning that plot line. Why is she injecting herself? Question
God. Oh God.
Why the heck would she inject herself?
Like Bullock is kind of the voice of the audience here. It's like, really, we're going in this direction.
Yeah. Anyway, so Jim leaves to deal with her, and he's absolutely sure that she injected herself. Like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure she's injected herself. He's going there to deal with her personally, which is just bound for disaster.
All right, so let's see. So Nigma is approaching our three stooges here, and Babs, Tabitha, and Butch. I don't know, Dragon. This plot has kind of fallen off the rails for me a little bit as well.
It's going to get really crazy.
Is it? Okay.
You have no idea how Tiki. Again, this is like more stuff.
Oh no!
If I told you
some episodes left, folks, and I have not watched either of them, but go ahead.
And you gotta remember, Tiki, those are two parts of like a huge, big, crazy finale.
Right,
so it's like TNT. They explode what happens to these three characters. I can't even. Oh boy.
Oh God. Okay. Wow.
I really, seriously, I could tell you what happens. Just like any one of these guys, you wouldn't. Except one. You believe me on one of them, but the rest of them just oh boy, the other time. So anyway, let's see. So Riddler's informing Babs and Company. I was just about to say Babs and Co. That's too familiar. So he's about to inform Babs and Company. Penguin's alive. Tabitha's very very skeptical of his story, again, very distrustful of Nigma.
Mm-hmm.
We have the red Jello callback, by the way. Also,
yes.
Basically, he went to just to recap the whole story of like the prison escape, which they're very skeptical of.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Tabitha is questioning the loyalty of Nigma, which leads to, of course, Barbara bringing up her grudge against Tabitha for kind of ruining her big old plans.
Then Butch has to step in and play mediator.
Of course. Nigma points out the backstabbing.
Yep. You know what this reminds me of, Dragon? I'm just going to make an analogy here, all right? It's going to be a little long-winded, but just bear with me. So Heroes. You remember Heroes.
Yeah.
So this is something that, this isn't like a Lost tangent where you're not going to have any frame of reference.
Yeah, well, again, I haven't watched all of Heroes, TK. I've only seen the first, essentially 2.5 seasons of Heroes.
I was right there with you, brother. I was right there with you. I watched through the first 2.5 seasons. I watched through the first half of season 3. I decided to randomly check out an episode in season 4. And you know what I saw, Dragon? I saw Mr. HRG. You know what I mean when I refer to.
Oh, yeah, you mean Horror and Glasses Guy,
right? Yeah. So I saw HRG randomly striking a deal with the big bad of that season. And then Hiro Hamada freezes time just as HRG and the villain are shaking hands. And Hiro Hamada is just like, oh, not this again. I'm just like, that just encapsulates the show so perfectly. Like, wow. It's like I was basically channel flipping. I flipped to that, and I'm like, yep, this show is shit. And I don't think Gotham's gotten to that level of bad yet or anything, but I don't know, man. This backstabbing and bickering is just, it's getting under my nerves a little bit.
I may have, when I'm saying backstabbing, I was like kind of still going with the point there. Nigma's point, all the backstabbing did lead to, I mean, you're right, again, there was a lot of backstabbing going on with the plot lines. You have a lot of trust and distrust, but I don't think it's as convoluted as Heroes. But you're right, you already said, sorry.
Oh God, no, it's not.
It's not. Again, on the whole, Heroes, we do owe a lot to Heroes as much as we take our shots at.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Heroes.
Anyway, so Nigma points out that all the backstabbing between Tabitha and Babs did lead to Nigma getting an answer to who controls Gotham in the birdcage. He did learn, of course, the Court of Owls. It's the Court of Owls, which they all knew, but also importantly, what he relays to Barbara is that the Court of Owls has no interest in the criminal underworld specifically. Again, they're kind of grand scale.
Mm-hmm.
All this, and basically, their main concern should be the Penguin, who is threatening their underworld control.
Right.
We have a fun Butch bit.
I knew your hand was made of lead, but I didn't know your brain was as well.
In reaction to Butch questioning, questioning the plan there.
Right, right.
Well, mainly questioning like why can't Enigma? Basically, well, yeah, why are your wars with Nick? You and basically Enigma.
Basically, like, why should they help him?
Yeah, Penguin's your problem. Why should we?
Yeah, yeah. And then Enigma's just like, well, they all conspired to kill Oswald together, so they're all guilty.
Which
in Oswald's mind.
Exactly, which makes all sense in the world, to be honest. Again, it's Enigma, he's a shrewd guy.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, leads to a team up. And by the way, in the comics right now, in the recent comic,
together again. So good to be together again. I'm sorry, someone literally does say together again.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's Babs.
It was actually kind of fun, Tiki, and I really recommend this, but you still have a lot of stuff to read before you even get to this point. Yes,
I do.
Comics just a fun art they just started right now with this really wonderful writer we got on Tom King. Anyway, so I'm just going to tell you the premise. I'm not going to tell you the whole thing. It's basically it's called The War of Jokes and Riddles. It's basically Joker and Riddler going to war with each other. It's awesome.
God, okay.
And basically, Joker's doing all this because he's killing people. He's doing all his crimes, and he can't laugh anymore. He's not finding it funny. And that's
now. Is this Scott Snyder Joker?
No, this isn't Scott Snyder Joker. But it's the guy who took over for Snyder. And he's really good. He's a spy in real life. Well, he was a spy in real life, and that's he's a really good guy.
All right.
Anyway, sorry, I just want to bring it again. A war of jokes and riddles. All this kind of this. Basically, I knew the war with jokes and riddles was coming. So basically, when this plot line started, the whole Riddler and Penguin war, kind of a little bit reminded me of this.
Hmm. Okay, so Dragon, can I just read off my notes for this scene?
But let me see. Is it that time yet?
I am pretty sure.
Oh no. Oh, it also on the way. Before, one last bit of nice good stuff before we torpedo everything. So, Enigma knows the mansion.
I'm sorry. I just love how much dread you had in your voice there. That sounded so genuine. No.
The Enigma knows that the mansion's the first place the Penguin would expect them to look, so thankfully Enigma knows all the various safe houses the Penguin has access to. And on the way out, I just love this like a cool shot and just everything. Enigma's walking out, has this real cool line as he exits. He mentions that, oh yes, and he has an army of Hugo Strange's monsters with him, just like saying, hey, vote of confidence, guys. And he's on his way out. And then we have...
Okay, so just in my notes, I'm like, oh god, this is a horror movie, and the horror is how bad it's going to be. Oh god, I'm not prepared for this. God help me, sigh. As Jim's walking into Lee's apartment, and Jim's calling to Lee, or I'm sorry, Jim's calling to Lee, and then Lee approaches. She's just like, hello, Jim. Dragon, I don't know, she looks like Morticia Addams. Like unclassy, like crack addict Morticia Addams.
Well, okay, I think crack addicts is a step too far.
I just want to say, like, she has the hair of Morticia Addams, but she doesn't look nearly as classy as Morticia Addams. So I don't know.
Yeah, boy, I'm just processing how to go about this.
And then anyway, so basically, Dragon, the biggest slap in the face to me. Keep in mind, I'm watching this without commercials, right? So I'm not affected by this, but still, it's like, she steps out, she's like, hello, Jim, I knew you'd come. And then that's the cut to commercial. I don't know why, Dragon, that just really got to me. I was just like, wow, what a fucking dramatic go-to commercial reveal. I'm so riveted. So basically, we go back, and she's just like, go ahead.
I just want to point out some other bad stuff in this scene. So again,
there's so much. There's so much.
I've been saying right off the bat we have some mistakes just in this scene. Not all of it's on Lee, believe it or not. I mean, Jim's just right off the bat he's telling the unis to head back to the station, not just keeping back up on the outside, expecting that she's injected herself with the blood, most likely, which would include super strength. So having backup maybe not the worst idea in the world.
Yeah.
Then, like, eerily, I gotta give points on this, eerily, just to go so over the top, is that we have, like, most likely Mario's burning stuff in the fireplace, because I think we see a picture of her and Mario together. It's like, it's like a paper in the fire, and just like, oh, God. And then
because, of course, the virus is deepened her. It's basically turned her into, like, season 2 Barbara.
Okay, let me air out some stuff here. So,
God. Oh, man.
Let's grab a shovel and dig in here. So,
I mean, this is this is probably the worst scene in all of season 3, Dragon.
Possibly, yes, possibly. So let's see. Oh boy. So basically, here's a big thing I'm worried about with this. So it does give me concerns with the whole show in many respects.
Yeah, it does.
So here's the thing. Obviously, the reason we're really kind of dwelling and just like trying to avoid really talking about Lee is that she's such an over-the-top villainous, and I fear that we might fall into a pattern with the Gotham writings here, because I fear it's Gotham writing female character into a corner. That's what I fear it is. Because think about this. Remember this. Season 1, Barbara was intended to turn out the way she did. They figured that out, like, if not halfway through, then towards the end, where they figured that out with Barbara. Basically, they wrote themselves into a corner where, if I were just to extrapolate, I don't know 100% of this, but if I were to extrapolate, that, hey, we got all our characters here, got some basically people characters people know by name, like from Year 1 and other Batman stories like that. Oh yeah, Barbara Gordon, she was in Year 1, so they're in there. Of course, make her fiance. And then we have like all the other characters, and what they're realizing. Season 1, they're testing the water, seeing what kind of sticks, and of course we get seasons 2 and 3 kind of based on what worked and what didn't work in season 1. Of course, big problem. We saw this also with the other characters, like not so much Harvey Dent, because we don't do anything with Harvey Dent. But, with characters like
Harvey Dent. To be fair to Harvey Dent, it's not like he never didn't work. Like, the brief times we saw him, he was okay, Anyway,
again, I sort of like stuff to be done with them. But my point is, like, mainly with Barbara, Crispus Allen, and especially Renee Montoya, along with Barbara. Basically, with those three characters, essentially, that's when the reason we either got rid of them or we went in such a different trajectory is because they realized we have too many characters in the show and we have other interesting stuff to follow. Of course, we have, the Bruce Wayne,
the too many characters thing is definitely something that was on my mind as I was watching this Dragon, not going to lie.
Well, I'm saying in the very beginning, they have too many characters and plot lines to focus on. Basically, Barbara's just, in the beginning, she's just restricted to, hey, she's just going to be like the girlfriend, or like, like essentially the fiance who's like, we don't know what to do with her. We're just putting her in the corner, just kind of wasting her. So and think about it, Tiki. She was in the corner. Then they had to write her out doing this affair with, the whole, that monster Victor Zez. They had to write her out. Every opportunity they could, they had to get rid of her in some way.
Yeah.
And then they paired her off with Montoya. They write Montoya out there for a while. And then we just completely lost
oh God, that's right. Oh Jesus Christ!
And again, and then of course the way they wrote themselves out of that corner was, okay, we're going to bring Barbara back, and we're just going to go really kind of the Gotham driving people mad angle, which the season's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Again, good idea, kind of playing with the madness idea, but bad execution on certain with a female character. Where again, it's like we were out of ideas with Lee in the beginning here, because again, we kind of had a good out for it in the very beginning, with her, becoming pregnant in real life, which we had to kind of write her out for a while, and she left Gotham at the end.
They could have easily just written her out of the season and just been fine.
Exactly, but they wanted to, and unfortunately they wanted to play on kind of the real life thing of, hey, well, in real life they're together, so let's put her in the show.
Yep.
But you see, you understand the fear here that they're going in the future, if they write their female characters like, okay, we're going to introduce a female character, but we don't know quite what to do with her. We're going to have to rewrite her in a big way. They did it with Ivy. It worked with Ivy, and sometimes it works. Again, with Barbara it worked, and with Ivy it worked. But again, just Lee, they just went off the deep end with her. It's just, it's basically, it's like make him crazy or make him a bad guy. It's just like, well, we can't write her as we can't add a competent female character. You can think about it with this season. We had Valerie Vale. She was good.
Yeah, she was good. And what the hell ever happened to her?
Well, again, that's the thing.
I wasn't like over the moon about her or anything.
She was solid. It was like,
yeah.
And then basically they wrote her out because I guess they want to make room for Lee, but also it's just like, again, we don't have room for just other good female characters, I guess. I don't know. So I'm just saying, I really hope they change their tune on that going forward, because that's always that'd be like always that one thing going on each season. Like we have to force a female character to just keep writing themselves into a corner. And with Tabitha was kind of the same thing in season 2. Tabitha really wasn't that interesting, and she had to grow on you.
And to be honest with you, I'm kind of losing it on Tabitha a bit as well.
I was saying, it's like even then, it's like she's still not 100%. So we'll see going forward. I don't want to get in anything with what happens to our three guys here. Anyway, so again, I really hope they don't go the whole make them crazy when in doubt path going forward. Anyway, so here's what they're really doing wrong. The reason to kind of boil down senior. So basically, Lee, she's very obvious. She points out the obvious very superiorly. Like, oh, look at me. She has this great sense of superiority about herself. I stole the virus. Basically saying, she stole the virus. She's offering Jim his own whiskey, or offering Jim whiskey.
I know how you like your whiskey, Jim.
Jim is logically asking why. Why would you inject yourself? Is it because of Mario? Is it because you want to...
Yeah, and then she like goes off on Mario like, oh, you're gonna see that Mario was all your fault. You keep acting like Mario wasn't your fault. At that point, Dragon and I have a little bit of a breakdown in my notes. I'm like, shut up, shut up. Oh my god, will you people please shut up? Dragon was right. Dragon was completely right. This Mario thing is horrible. Fuck this virus subplot. All right. Yes. I could have lost it a little bit.
So again, Jim he wants to get her help. Basically, wants to put an end to this plot line.
Dragon, I kind of feel like we need to like do a Back to the Future on like like the episode, like like the mid-season finale. It's like like Dragon was right. It's awful. It's horrible. Tiki, have no hope for it. Tiki, what are you thinking? Being even slightly optimistic about this plot point. Anyways.
Anyway. Yeah, I was so right about it. Now you bring it up.
You really were. You really were, my friend.
I knew that knife thing was going to go horribly.
Yep. And I was like, yeah, we'll see where it goes. It's going to be interesting.
Yep. You just brought all that back anyway. So, just basically, Jim, like the audience, just wants to get this over as soon as possible. He wants to get our help. Just, okay, let's nip this virus thing in the bud right now. Let's do that. And she tells Jim that the virus, basically, she's glowing up at the virus like Barnes is. Like, she tells Jim that the virus showed her how how she loves Jim, and I gotta tell you, I'm gonna give it this much, and it's like a little pebble's worth of praise.
Is it a fruity pebble or a cocoa pebble?
It was going with the actual sedimentary rock, Tiki, but okay, let's say a fruity pebble. Fine.
All right.
Actually, no, I'm gonna change it cocoa.
All right, fair enough.
Anyway, my pebbly compliment here. It's what she says following the the virus show that she loves Jim. She has this line afterwards, and I think again unsupported by any of the other stuff we said with Lee. This might have been an interesting idea to play with. So, I mean, basically what they're doing here is they've been trying to pay this off, but unfortunately throughout the whole thing, it's just they've kind of handled it so poorly. But I think this is what they're ultimately aiming for. This idea that Lee voices through the virus, that it showed her. It clearly showed her that it gave her some perspective. Like, why am I drawn to Jim Gordon? And the logical reason that the virus showed is like, well, you're drawn to the darkness that he embodies to some capacity. I like the idea of her recognizing that she might be drawn a little bit to the dark side of Jim Gordon. You know
what I don't buy about that though, Dragon, is that wasn't that her like main complaint about Gordon the whole time she was with him? Was like, oh, you've got a dark side to you, Jim. It scares me. I don't know where you go, Jim.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, deep down, kind of an acknowledgement. Again, bear in mind, it's really unsupported with the season. I'm saying maybe had they done it smarter, this thing could have panned out. This idea that deep down, as much as she was all nay about that, he's saying no, like not in terms of yay or nay, she's very nay on. Like no, I don't want to. Jim, don't go the dark path here. Don't give into your darker tendencies. But deep down, like she still stayed with him after all that. It might have been for a reason that hey, she's kind of drawn to it. It's kind of like the nurse thing. The nurse is a it's like I'm sorry, not it's sort of like tending the patient, always going back to the patient despite them having self-destructive tendencies in a way.
Right, sure.
I don't know, again, maybe some stuff to play with, but again, aside from that, just really unsupported. But again, like that was the only like pebbles worth of good stuff maybe to come from the virus thing. Like it's a one-line moment, and the rest of it just trails off.
Wow,
I just want to give it like the nickel's worth of praise. So
wow, a lot to unpack there, Dragon. A lot to unpack. Oh boy. Okay.
That make any sense?
Yes, you did. All right.
Anyway, just like some deep down, some part of her like, then she's acting all seductive.
I'm just saying a lot to unpack with like just this scene in general.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm yeah.
Anyway, she's acting all and the acting choices by background. And again, it's like we're at a point here where like,
oh, she's so bad. I'm sorry to say it, but she's so bad.
It's kind of her doing her Poison Ivy impression.
Yeah.
Well, I Poison Ivy from Batman Robin Poison Ivy, like over the top.
Oh god. Right.
And it's unfortunate. I want to just because I don't want to just lose the negativity. Again, we love Miranda Backer, just not this season.
Yep.
Really do.
All right, can we jump off this, man? We're kind of spending a lot of time here.
Okay, she's all seductive. Jim always. The problem is Jim's always denying his darkness, as she points out to him, and she can help with that. She instead of just like instantly doing her plan right here, which is a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
She just doesn't. She lifts him and tosses him across the room. She has a secret, and that's how we.
Oh God. Just,
okay. Point again. Just why did she just enact the plan there? There's a logic question for that. She goes down a really stupid, convoluted plan in this episode. That's the kind of thing we're building.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, Alfred's showing Bullock the map.
Mm-hmm. Also talking about the Whisper Gang.
Oh yeah, I love the callback to the Whisper Gang against Snyder idea. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Kind of pointing out like the old locations and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. And of course what?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we know the cool thing is we know the Whisper Gang, they've been trailing the Corvallis, so it's a very decent lead. And of course, Alpha bring up, well, if there's any alive, because again, it looked like the Corvallis is wiping them out. So luckily they found a lead through that.
All right, so we have oh God, so some good comedy this episode, Dragon, not unintentional comedy. We have Cobblepot just completely tearing the room apart, just really like out of his mind, frustrated. Then Selena and Ivy talking, kind of getting reacquainted. Ivy just insists on calling Penguin Pengy.
Oh, it's just funny. It's endlessly funny.
Oh God.
So Penguin's having his tantrum because, as he recaps in his rant, basically his recruitment didn't. The people that he recruited, the Hugo Strange monsters that he recruited, of course, being Mr. Freeze and Firefly, they abandoned him because he was captured, and they didn't show up, so they just kind of ran away like pets almost.
Oh man!
They left him and leaving a very vulnerable Penguin because again he's without his army that they promised Ning. Which, by the way, I mean army in kind of a loose sense. He had 3 really powerful people. I guess it's an army.
Well, it's kind of like the whole like we have an army, I have an army, we have a Hulk. I don't know.
Kind of a stretch, but I'll take it. Anyway,
I mean, maybe he thought he could have gotten more of the Indian Hill people. Who knows?
Well, also, we had Selena. So, I mean, Selena was on his side, too. So, speaking of which, Selena's on the scene here. So, Penguin's asking Selena if she can find Firefly, of course, being her friend.
Mm-hmm.
And she's asking what's in it for me. And, of course, it's going forward with Selena. She's very self-motivated. She's very much kind of in the Catwoman framework. What's in it for me, kind of the thief with no personal ties.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
My gratitude, which is hilarious. I love the way Robin Lord Taylor was. My gratitude, just so it's fun delivery. Then Nigma arrives.
Yep. Oh yeah. Let's see.
We have a nice bit with Ivy where she says, listening, saying, "Come on, Ivy, let's get out of here. I can't leave Penguin."
Yeah, that's really nice, man. I love I love. It kind of reminds me of like the Vera Farmiga and Jimmy McGill.
Oh, gosh. Yes. There's obscurity, and there's just where our obscure gags about our obscure shows.
It's not Norma, what did you do today, Norma? Says disapproving Romero. I just rolled around in the dirt with Jimmy. Okay, anyways.
Norma Louise, you stay away from that McGill boy.
Okay.
And make sure his brother doesn't play with matches.
Oh, man. Oh God. Okay.
Anyway. So anyway, back off the Farmiga inspired tangent.
Yes.
So yeah, it was really sweet though, and I like that we do kind of we do keep in mind the idea Ivy still is genuine friends with the Penguin, which is nice. Penguin has a secret exit, thankfully, so he's got kind of a little contingency in this scene, so he's something to something to help him out.
Got a safe room,
of course. Let's see. Oh, we have like this bit where like she shrieks when he has like this fun like surprise shriek when Nigma and everyone enters. Okay, we have basically Enigma enters, gun pointed at Penguin, and of course Enigma he senses that something isn't right in the scene. As he's about to, he's gloating over the Penguin as per usual. Enigma.
Mm-hmm.
I figured Penguin. I knew it was going to be basically he's saying I didn't know it was going to be this easy taking you down.
Right.
Penguin then hits his button, which triggers a lockdown, which basically provides them with a window of escape. Basically that while everything's locking down, they can get out of there while they're going to be impeded in escaping themselves. Bravo, Oswald! Bravo! I just love the pairing of Butch and Nigma like this.
It really is fun to to see Nigma and Penguin kind of just like they have so much respect for each other, but at the same time they want to kill each other so much.
So Looney Tunes in a way.
I know, right?
Yeah. Also, we didn't really do a lot with this, but just the pairing of just like Butch having that just to take in all like Nigma's like over the topness with his rivalry with the Penguin. It's like, oh yeah, I have to hear this. Just him like, what is going on? You're being locked down in like a safe house. Come on.
And this is kind of the stuff you were probably talking about when you were talking about the whole like you wouldn't believe what's going on. Just alliances are shifting and crazy stuff, and Gordon's about to be buried alive. Oh, God.
Okay, let's see. So, following the Bravo Oswald, you're delaying the inevitable. We have, Tabitha knocks out Selena also, but it's important. The shaman. Shaman's asking Bruce what he's thinking about, and he's thinking about his parents. And
he feels he feels failure because he didn't say the words. He didn't give the orders.
Yeah, and Justice feels he achieved justice, but he absolutely feels like like he's failed his mission, and based on the fact he didn't give the order. And deep down, Bruce, and I'd like to think deep down, this is like kind of Bruce just kind of in figuring out what he's going to do after the parents. Is kind of him figuring that what I just did was not justice in the end.
I mean, yeah, Dragon, to tell you the truth, I almost kind of wish they didn't play the mind control thing up too much, because honestly, like something as dark as taking out like a whole table full of Court of Owls people would work as a great sort of like, like lesson to learn of, like on Batman's path of never killing. You know what I mean?
I would say, that again, it'd be really kind of hard to swallow, but I mean, it would be an interesting thing if they could pull it off.
Yeah, and of course, now the shaman does, he does kind of go in like, oh, it's fascinating. You're completely docile. Or no, I'm sorry, that's Strange. Strange enters, and Strange is fascinated by Bruce, and Bruce's, basically lack of emotion.
Yeah, this is a really great bit. Of course, we know Hugo Strange from season 2.
We've had our love fest over BD Wong. Everyone knows it.
But I'm just saying in general, we in season 2 we had this great thing where Hugo Strange he was a genuine friendship with Thomas Wayne. He's all the respect and intrigue in the world for Bruce Wayne, which of course will foreshadow his days of having a grand interest in Batman.
Sure.
So I just love right off the bat again. BD Wong just taking like a little nugget of a scene. He just adds layers to it here, where he's just so fascinated by how docile Bruce is in comparison. He's like, this is the Bruce I always wanted. You made it happen. And he's like, how was this accomplished? He's just so fascinated by it. And of course, Hugo Strange. He's always so fascinated with, in the future. He's always fascinated with like tricks of the mind, hypnosis, mind control, right. So all sorts of stuff. So he's very interested in like how. So and then here's where he calls him Sensei. Actually, this is where we get the name.
Okay.
So when he calls him Sensei here in the comics,
right, you're right.
League of Assassins had a member who trained everyone called Sensei, and that was the big tip off that we're doing some League of Assassins stuff.
Okay. Because I swear to God, it's just like, at least from Batman Begins, Dragon, this character follows the Ducard mold so
I will say this. I'll finally speak to the Ducard thing.
All right.
Technically, I believe it's... here's the thing. He's called the Sensei. So officially, he is the Sensei, and from this point forward, like he's called Sensei.
Okay.
But there was some additional stuff. Basically, do like these little shorts that play during the episodes, and that they were on YouTube for a while. And they were just like these. It's basically them trying to like promote a product, but they also have a little story. And basically, a guy is getting an interview with Barbara Keene.
Oh God.
And it builds that like it's like 3 little short segments, and the opening is always like him. He's compiled research with other characters, and they have all these cryptic images and interviews. Like Catherine, I think, was interviewed in Darkness, and like obscure and all that stuff. And one of the images, someone said Ducard.
Oh, okay.
Which implies to me that the intention, I don't know if they changed it or not, but the intention is that, and again, there's no cred or anything that confirms this. I'm only going off of that. It's the only nugget, but that it said Ducard very clearly. And it's like,
right.
I can only assume that he was intended to be Ducard, if not the Sensei. They just mixed the Ducard character and the Sensei character.
Fair enough. I mean, the show does that kind of like mix and match sort of
which
thing.
isn't a bad mix and match, because essentially the characters
you're right.
So I would like to think that it's unspoken.
I'm down with that.
Sensei was Ducard. which is cool.
Okay.
So I'm saying, but now we can just call him Sensei by all means.
Sure.
Anyways, big reveal to League of Assassins with the name Sensei already. They're big on Hugo Strange. He's showing he shows off the mass dispersion bomb, and so it's completed and it's all ready and capable for the virus to disperse on a wide scale. We
get some real. I'm sorry, Dragon, but we get some real Bane talk here. Out of the ashes, the fire will rise.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm sorry, Bane bombs. Where the hell is Bane? Come on.
Well, again, we've hinted at Bane the first season.
I know. I'm just like, Bane should be around for the bomb, man. That's what I'm saying.
I will say this though, with the whole Fire Rises thing, it is kind of just
they basically quote the Dark Knight Rises. There, am I crazy or not?
Let me throw this at you.
Okay.
It's the idea here that in Dark Knight Rises, of course, Bane is in alliance with the League of Assassins.
Of course.
Or League of Shadows. You can split hairs. League of
so are you maybe hinting that season 4, when we get into the League of Shadows stuff, we'll have Bane?
Well, not that, but I'm not saying no to that either. What I'm saying is, like, I think in Dark Knight Rises, it's like maybe they were really modeling kind of their Bane lines off some like kind of the methodology of the League of Assassins. That's why it sounds so similar, possibly.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I gotcha.
It could just be a direct reference. I'm just saying, like, just kind of rationalizing, because again, League of Assassins tie in.
I could also see Bane be like that. That would be a logical way to introduce him.
Certainly, but yeah, again, we'll see. Bane sometimes he's more separated. He's usually more separated from the League. Then years later, he'll team up with the League. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so let's see. It shows dispersion bomb, and of course it's just reestablished. We use the court for our own ends, and we tease. Oh boy, we have the tease here. Oh boy, so the one I serve believes that. You have a greater destiny. My task was to prepare you for it, and the final step remains in this in your journey. The final step remains in your journey. He hands him the detonator. Essentially, he's implying his goal is going to be to actually make the big decision to essentially kind of lead Gotham to ruin. They infect thousands and tear Gotham apart out of the ashes of all destruction. And a dark hero will rise.
The fire rises.
The fire rises.
Yes.
Well, yes. There's of course you have the button set up and all that stuff, and we're ready to. And are you ready to embrace your destiny? Yes.
Oh yeah, he's all about it at this point.
I just love these on a dark hero will rise, which we know again we're kind of building to, and Gotham must fall. I mean, it's such great destiny building lines. He's so theatrical. It's awesome.
Okay. All right, so we get a couple. We get a quick little bit about Bullock teasing Alfred, like, I should give you a badge.
Yep.
Then, oh god. Okay, so Lee puts Jim in the trunk. Yeah. And then the GCPD then bursts in on Strange. Like we have the pit. Strange just like, obviously, I surrender. And oh god,
it's so sad. Just as the bomb leaves, then Bullock and Alfred arrive. They showed up.
It's like the American Tail thing. Like just turn to the left. Just turn slightly to the left.
Yeah. But this is really cool. I just love that. Just the minute they burst the doors in the town, they get into a battle with the Talons. It's really cool. Yeah. It's like GCPD interrupt us in a way. Well, no, like when they burst, like Bullock saying GCPD, and he's interrupted before he can even finish like the whole spiel.
Mm-hmm. And then Alfred is just like ready to just, he just straight up threatens to shoot the shaman in the face if he doesn't if he doesn't put down Bruce.
Absolutely. You put down tells him to put down the weapon. It's
you best put down the weapon, Mr. Pennyworth.
Oh yeah. So Alfred, I just love the shock on Alfred. Just he's initially shocked. Bruce, he's stepping in front of the sensei.
Yeah, this guy's acting is really good in this moment, I think.
Oh yeah, and I love that Alfred just sees that something's off in Bruce. Mm-hmm. So again, I like that Alfred, and I love that we address it going forward. That was that he realized, okay, this Bruce is under a mind control or something, because he's really acting not like Bruce. And of course, Alfred of all characters would know Bruce Wayne at the back of his hand, so he's going to know if something's off with the kid. And essentially, again, with this whole mind control thing, again, I like it's basically Bruce getting, Bruce kind of getting like seduced by that dark side and being able to make choices with kind of a get out of jail free card for like some really gutsy decisions he can make. So in a way, it kind of covered the bases on. A lot of people have problems with the brainwashing thing, the way it pans out. So
I agree with you that it does allow us to get into some gutsy territory that we probably wouldn't have otherwise been able to justify.
We'll see how you feel about it in a couple in the last remaining episodes.
We'll see.
All I'm going to say is, on the whole, I like it because it allows us to explore this territory and still like not corrupt what Batman stands for. So that's where I'm kind of standing on. Anyways, let's see. So then, Bruce tells Alfred he lifted the burden of my past.
It's at this point that Alfred kind of realizes that there's something up with him.
Absolutely. So, so before Alfred can pursue, he is taken down by a Talon, and they make their escape.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Hugo Strange is put into a cell.
Yep.
And again, the acting on Sean Purple is Alfred's just in pure shock in this scene. It was like the after of the fall. He's just in pure shock of what the court turned Bruce into.
Mm-hmm.
Turns into a weird zombie zealot.
I like the wording of that.
Convinced that his destiny is to detonate the bomb, and
Dragon, at this point, I just put in my notes. Yeah, Dragon was right. This is completely nuts. Like Bruce is a zombie, and we got all these alliances. And, oh God, and Lee and
So Bullock has a great line here where he says, let's grill Baldylocks.
Baldylocks, I love it. Dragon, if you don't mind indulging me, Hugo Strange presents Baldylocks and the Three Bears. Baldylocks once went to a cabin, and basically he does like, this porridge was too hot. This porridge was too cold. But this porridge was just right. Now, children, don't nod off. Let Baldylocks finish his story. All right, I'm done.
Are you sure?
Point. Yes, I'm sure.
Is it out of your system?
Yes, it's out of my system.
Okay. Anyway, so we have this. Here's another one. Honestly, I think this is speaking of Montoya later on. We have an actual real Montoya here because we kind of lost the other real
Montoya. Please stand up. Please stand up. Please stand up.
Okay, but seriously, we have Campos here. Basically, Bullock has an assistant. This, honestly, she plays a lot like what Montoya actually does play like, especially in the early seasons of the animated series.
We had Montoya.
We literally had Montoya.
We had that Strike Force girl for like a hot minute.
We did. For season 2, we had a real Montoya in season 2, and then so we lost her because again we don't. Basically, season 2 is when we individualized, and they kept getting killed off like flies.
Right.
Then we lost all connection to them.
Oh God.
So now we have. I think honestly, I would hope Campos. I don't know. Campos I could buy as a regular because basically Bullock has an assistant as the commission. Well, sorry, as the captain. So again, she actually kind of the real early Montoya from the animated series. I mean, I could buy it. I mean, Campos is kind of functioning as like kind of a Montoya by any other name.
Yeah.
So she tells Bullock that Jim is missing. Yeah, big surprise. Jim is missing, and Lee enters.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yep, that's the scene. She enters. Lee enters. Bullock's making with the pleasantry. So again, Bullock is on fire in the scene as he is in every scene.
He is.
Bullock's great in this.
Bullock and Alfred are both really, really on fire this episode, I think.
Yep, he's making pleasantries, trying to get answers in a calm manner. She reveals that Jim should. And this is complete BS. I don't buy this once. That she reveals that Jim should be waking up right about now. Come on, how
the timing on that is like perfect.
She has no. I literally wrote my notes in parentheses with an exclamation point. There is just no way of knowing that.
Oh God. Dragon, in my notes, I have as Jim.
We're timing any of this. She has no way to time any of this.
As Jim wakes up in the coffin, Dragon, I was just like, I wish I was watching Buried. Why can't I just be watching Buried? Save me, Ryan Reynolds. Save me, Deadpool.
I saw some. They had some production photos from the new Deadpool movie. I was really excited by.
Awesome.
But speaking of that, I did have my own Buried joke.
Okay. Yes.
So Jim awakens in a pine box with a flashlight. As it turns flashlight, it's revealed. Then we have the reveal that he has been buried alive, and just he screams like the audience are, Lee!
That is really funny. That is really funny.
But out of context, that's got to be hilarious just looking upon the season. But again, first Ryan Reynolds and bring it back.
Dragon, if we were skilled at editing, like if I could make an edited review of season 3, I would totally just use that clip every time we make like a criticism of Lee. Yep. Oh my god, that actually like
that, and of course the thing with Morty, she loves me.
Okay. Now I'm kind of inspired, Dragon. I want to make an edited season 3 video now.
Okay, but seriously,
just to use that joke. Just to use that joke.
It's just the reveal that Gordon was buried alive it occurred to me. First Ryan Reynolds, now Ben McKenzie. What is it with Marina Baccarin? What's your problem, man?
Right. Oh god.
Because she likes to bury her men alive.
Well, to be fair, she did not bury Ryan Reynolds in Buried.
You're right. In Buried, she did, just going off the fiction.
That would be a twist.
Anyway, so just such a we'll dive into how ridiculous that is momentarily. But
Buried is just like a sexual escapade of Deadpool and Vanessa gone horribly wrong.
And Tiki, there was a Deadpool story where Deadpool did fall in love with another girl, and she did bury him alive.
Oh no! Okay, that makes.
And before the movie Buried, so it's so meta with Ryan Reynolds, and that way before Buried.
Oh man, that makes too much sense. All right.
And even Reynolds being a fan of Deadpool, you gotta wonder.
Wow.
Okay. Let's get off the Deadpool thing. Aside from the fond Marina Baccarin memories, let's get back to the negative reality.
Yes.
So, and again,
you seem to think it's a bad thing. You just want to put him up on a pedestal and force him to deny his true self. I'm going to free Jim and show the world who he really is.
Such a convoluted plan. Again, she just had him. Why didn't she? If she wants, she either wants him.
So stupid.
Let me reiterate here, folks. She wants one of two possibilities. Okay, follow me on this. I know it's complicated. Just follow me on this. Two possibilities.
This is where my heroes comparison really starts to come into play, Dragon.
Okay, so the reason she didn't just kind of do this earlier on is because she wanted like this elaborate thing, so Gordon made the choice. But I'm saying it's a very simple choice. Not doesn't you really need like a big production number made out of. Okay, either Gordon wants to be with you by making you on the same level with the Butters, either injects himself so they can be together, live happily ever after in her own deranged way, or says no, which would equal death. Because again, if I can't have no one else again, that's what we're dealing with here. Dead,
pretty much.
We're virus injected. And it's very simple. Just ask Gordon, hey Jim, virus, yay or nay? And he just could have made the decision there.
Well, no, she had to make a big public stunt out of it, Dragon. That's the whole point.
I feel so apologetic to Miranda Baccarin because I don't want in my mind, the furthest like kind of file cabinet in the back of my mind, I'm part of me is worried like, oh boys, I hope Miranda Baccarin's not listening to this, like being like, oh god. Just very in the I know it's super, so it's like a 0.0% chance of this. But.
You better be careful, Dragon. That might like give you a brain tumor or something. Worrying about stuff like that.
Oh no, I'm just saying, like in the furthest. Like I wonder, if like the miracle exemption. What if you watch this? This is like, oh boy, I enjoyed the first two scenes of this discussion. Let's get to the third.
Oh no!
Oh no! And then of course. Ben, get in here, Ben. They're like, oh no!
Oh no!
What have we done? What have we perpetrated here? Oh, we hurt Miranda Baccarin's feelings. Okay.
All right.
Again, there's a little fantasy tangent there. But let's get back.
Yeah, that was.
Okay, so the guns are only as they should be.
So, in her own words, the option is to take the virus and find the strength to get out of there, or make the coffin your permanent home.
Yep. I just love this, the instinctual thing. It's just like so like fist pumpingly in a way, like, yeah, put your guns on her, fire. Like, all of them, the minute she enters, she reaches for the walkie-talkie. Guns are on. But yes, that's the sadistic choice at hand, I suppose.
It's dumb. It's just dumb. It's not even sadistic, really. It's just dumb.
Yeah. And I'll get into it later, but there is somewhat of a Batman inspiration behind this with Gordon. I'll get into that later when he's actually in the position of making the choice.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, so again, just reach for it, it's strong. And basically, Bullock has a way of communicating with Jim now via the walkie-talkie. And unfortunately, Lee's holding the cards, which means we can't just kill her on sight. Darn it.
Yep, that would be nice, right?
Yep. So, and of course, she left Jim with the way with the syringe. Anyway, just moving past the scene, I guess. She's walked to herself because she's where she needs to be.
Get the lady a cup of coffee.
And again, Bullock being really pleasant, despite the fact he doesn't even need to be pleasant to this lady.
Right.
We have this weird bit where Lee and Hugo Strange exchange kind of this goofy look at each other.
Now that's what I'm talking about in terms of like the HRG shaking hands with random people. It's like we've gotten to this point, folks. We've gotten to this point.
We have Hugo Strange, one of the most interesting characters from season 2, with one of the formerly pleasant characters from the other 2 seasons, who is now just completely turned into an over-the-top, very Mae West, Poison Ivy-inspired supervillain.
Oh, God.
Oh, and she has like this cool, she has the eye effect where she has like the virusy eyes now and again, just to accentuate the weirdness of it all.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, moving on.
Wow. So Bullock, man, like I said, Bullock's really on fire here. He's just like, all right, people, Bruce Wayne is still missing, and there's still a freaking terrorist attack that could go down at any minute. Let me worry about Jim Gordon. And so basically, Gordon and Bullock are talking to each other via the walkie, as you said.
Jim gives him a lead, basically with the shortwave frequency lead, basically saying these walkie-talkies have a shortwave frequency, which basically kind of narrows down the search parameters, and basically get to Lucius, he'll probably nail down. Yeah, I like that Jimmy and Bullock are still bouncing off each other, even separated by Earth and distance and walkie-talkies.
Totally.
Really strong pair, and I always love those 2 guys together.
All right.
Oh, there are the one gripe though with again just the stupid idea of Baron Gordon alive. Here's just this, we're doing this thing we always do.
Stupid idea. I agree.
We're doing this thing we see constantly. You saw Barry. You got to tell me if he does this in the movie. You saw Barry, right?
Yeah.
So let me say, look on based on the premise, you have to assume he's going to get out of the box, right? He does get out of the box. All right, fine. Regardless, that's not my question.
You want me to tell you?
No, don't tell me. I'm just going to assume you did. Anyway, all right, fine. I don't care. Anyway, so
it's not a happy ending.
He's got a healing factor. It'll be fine. So my point is, in all these buried alive scenarios, and this is the thing I want you to answer for me, is that Gordon here, Bullock's telling to conserve his breath and stay calm, especially after the way. And here's what I'm saying: is every time we have someone buried alive, they're always like talking to themselves. It's refreshing.
Well, if they didn't, they wouldn't have a movie.
That's what I'm saying. Can't we do like the gutsy short film thing where we just see him kind of do it all visually and like a guy not?
Oh, if you want something like that, watch 127 Hours.
Well, I mean, sure, but I'm saying with someone buried alive, where logically they wouldn't say anything.
Right. Anyway.
You know what I mean? I'm saying so in buried alive. Well, sorry, not buried. Yeah, in buried. Does he talk to himself? Does he talk?
Yeah, I mean, he has a cell phone in Buried, so he uses that a lot.
When he's not talking to himself, and does he talk to himself, though?
It's been a while, but I want to say yes.
Because I'm saying Jim does this in this episode where he does that thing where he's reaffirming stuff to himself where he really should be conserving air.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's just telling himself, not to panic, so I don't think that's I don't think that's terrible.
It's always a pet peeve with the buried alive subplot for me. Anyway.
Yeah, anyways.
Okay,
so Selina's being interrogated by the Babs gang. Oh God, just too many. This is where the too many characters thing really starts to get to me, Dragon. So Penguin's army deserted him, and let's see. So basically, they're kind of setting up Selina to set up Penguin. So tell Penguin you know where Bridget is and that you'd like to meet. We'll take care of the rest.
So in exchange, Selina wants to make sure Ivy doesn't get hurt and she gets enough cash to get out of town, or basically get out of Dodge.
She's stupid, but she's not a traitor.
Yep, we have this hilarious bit where she gives Butch a lip where she calls him lunk. Poor Butch. Butch really gets in this episode unnecessarily.
And then Babs basically shoos Tabs and Butch out oh, you'll excuse me if I have trust issues. And Bush is just like, how long are we going to put up with this? I'm sorry, that kind of sounded more like Mike. How long are we going to put up with this, Vince? I don't like getting ridden out of the finale. That still bugs me.
He's eating meatloaf. He's fine.
Anyway, so I should have been there at the nacho scene with Hector.
All right.
All right.
Anyway, again, I'm trying to figure out where we're getting all this mic tangent. So they set up a meeting, take care of the rest, trust issues.
That's basically it. That's basically it with the scene.
Right. Oh yeah. Okay then. Let's move on.
Okay. So they've nailed down the location to Jackson Park.
Yes.
And then this is great. This is great. I want you to get your hands really, really dirty, Alfred. So basically, Bullock gives Alfred free reign to get information out of Hugo Strange by any means necessary, which is wonderful.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like that Alfred is sympathetic, because he knows Gordon and Bullock are friends, and that there's all sorts of like things that are dividing his attention. Of course, Alfred's basically pointing out, like, hey, Bruce Wayne's my main concern. I need you to go with Bruce Wayne over Jim and Gordon here.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, and then of course just kind of divvying out kind of the responsibilities he's putting onto the person he trusts more than any other officer in the GCPD, the one who's not a member of the GCPD, Alfred. Which is kind of a strategic move, because you could always like say, oh, well, I didn't tell him to do that. It was
exactly, right.
It was the butler did it.
Oh God.
He basically he has this great line. You have the line that he do whatever it takes.
All I have is the whole, like, I want you to get your hands really, really dirty.
Even if all that's left of Hugo Strange is, and we see BD Wong's reaction to this, just like, his hilarious reaction for his own safety. He's always concerned about himself in that regard. So, do whatever it takes, and this causes Hugo Strange to worry. Even if all that's left of Hugo Strange is a pinky, we'll throw that in jail.
Oh God! All right, and then meanwhile.
And they do something dumb where he's with Lee. I'm building to it. Is that he's yelling locations that tips off Lee, and then Lee says, "You can't."
That's true. That's true. That is dumb.
Why would they yell? And one, you're satisfying the maniac in the cage. Secondly, it might lead to some, as we see later on, just to some bad ideas.
Right. He's going to take the virus, and we're going to be together the way we were meant to be. It's going to be dramatic pause. Beautiful.
Oh. Oh dear, Miranda background, what has happened?
All right, so this might be the best Alfred scene ever.
Well, that's great. Let's there's so many great Alfred scenes.
So Alfred, I just love the visual of the dragon. So he's strangling Hugo Strange over the side of a building with Strange's tie.
He's dangling over the side by the tie of the GCPD rooftop. And of course, the GCPD rooftop. This is a fun location because, of course, years later, bat signal.
Sure, definitely.
Has a little like moderately jazz, like, hey, a rooftop. So let's see. So basically, Alfred then pulls him down. Let's discuss this in a civilized manner.
Mm-hmm.
Alfred's demanding answers.
Well, I like the approach he has because, basically he's offering, your freedom for Bruce Wayne. And Hugo Strange is like, you don't have the authority to do that. I don't have an authority to hang you off of a bloody building now, did I?
Alfred's finally really, really clever. And also Strange.
He's really straight with him, too. He's like, obviously he's not completely straight with the way that things end up. But, he seems genuine. He's like, I won't stop you. I just want Bruce Wayne. Take me, anyways.
And again, like two things bear in mind was Strange on this side. Is that, of course, Strange always does have a soft spot for Bruce Wayne. That's probably why deep down is like he's willing to tell Alfred.
Sure.
But on the other side of it too, he's because he has also mentioned the control they had Bruce under, so that makes mention that in the scene, I think, as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
he does.
Important in this thing that we do continue with Hugo Strange. He's always about self-preservation, so he's pointing out that he's going to end up dead either way. So then Alfred calls him Humpty, which is really funny. He's getting the fact he's dangling off the building. And also, we have a Batman villain called Humpty Dumpty, which is kind of fun.
Right.
Got it has like a British term calls him like a a swap seat.
Slag?
It was like a swap seat or something.
Ah, maybe.
Got a swap seat down your pup. I think that's what he says.
Right.
Really bizarrely British, but you know.
Well, hey, Alfred
Pennyworth
is one of the most beloved British characters.
I know. I'm just saying, like, sometimes, like, it's the gag. He's using the British that you have to have, like, a little book to translate.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, so, let's see, so then, he tells him that, maybe, the Bruce...
maybe, like, kind of like some BFG terminology, almost.
Right. So the Bruce they know is gone, his mind's no longer his own, and, and then Alfred comes back, and you have no idea how strong that boy is. Really good line.
Oh God, I'm sure that moment got to you, Dragon, because it really got to me.
It's a good line.
And he's so confident. He's like, you have no idea how wrong you are. It's like, oh God, Alfred, yes.
Anyway, so what Strange reveals is that they're going to Wayne. Bruce is at Wayne Enterprises, so they can watch the street below at 5 p.m. So Alfred's armed some very important information here about the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Bruce is going to be safe to watch the bomb above the Wayne Enterprise, so it basically implies where the location is for the bomb. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, it's Alfred being a man of his word. You can walk away as soon as you wake up. Wake up, and knocked out. Slag. Calls him a slag, then he leaves.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Sensei,
yes. Okay.
He's questioning if Bruce is troubled by the Alfred encounter.
Yeah, I also like how he calls Alfred his manservant.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, come on, be a little bit more respectful to Alfred. Jeez.
Well, he is technically, that's his job description. He's a manservant.
It's I don't know. It's something about the wording of that just sounds off to me. Anyways,
it is very League of Assassins-esque, though. Just this whole, like, like he's your, it's like an honorific title, like he's your manservant.
I don't want to dwell on it. So we get some Ra's al Ghul foreshadowing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then let's see.
All that's been done is to prepare you for this. A lot of Destiny talk, and afterwards, I will bring you to the one whose vision has singled you out.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they'll love the build.
Okay, so they're at the park where Gordon's buried. They've covered about 30 acres, but Gordon, it's getting hard to breathe for him, and he's running low on batteries, so not good.
And this is a beautiful bit here, speaking of like good friendships and stuff. I mean, Jim is accepting his demise here, and he tells Bullock, there's too much ground to cover, and I know you did all you could. Like, oh my God, like Gordon saying goodbye to his friend, just knowing that, well, he didn't do what he could. I'm a goner. And then I love this too, where this is what Bullock will do, especially this Gotham version of Bullock. Again, he's willing to dip a toe across the line by all means. Bullock regrettably is saying, hey, let's go to Plan B, because again, he doesn't want to lose his friend here. Okay, well, he doesn't like it, but you have to go to Plan B. Go for the virus. If it means you live, take the virus.
Mm-hmm.
I love this with Gordon. He considers it for like a mere moment. Then Jim won't become a monster, and he refuses this.
For now.
Yes, for now. Yes. Jim, again, Jim really much does not want to inject himself for obvious reasons, and just again does not want to give in to his inner darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So Jim overhears Alfred's the conversation with Alfred, in which Alfred calls Bullock and gives him the bomb information.
Yeah, the bomb's due to detonate at 5 p.m. I'm sorry. One of my favorite moments in the episode is Bullock's reaction, like 5 o'clock. That's in like 20 minutes. Are you with me on that? It's just that's like 20 minutes.
It is delivery. Yes, it is pretty funny. It didn't really stand out to me as much as some of the other ones, but it's funny. Yes. So anyway, Jim. Meanwhile, Bullock's putting a Union on Union Station, because they generally know where it is. They don't know exactly where. Importantly, Gordon hears the information, just kind of knowing at least kind of where the bomb's going off of. Bullock stays with the Jim Gordon hunt while everyone else is going to all available sources going to stop this bomb. Jim figures out where the bomb is, because he remembers something Catherine mentioned about Gotham will fall when the clock stops. It's on she had talking about the big old plant from the Corrals, implying that the clock, it's the clock tower of the station.
And of course, he conveniently says this to Bullock right as his walkie-talkie dies for dramatic effect.
Yep. No. Oh, it's just if we hear the frequency die when he's trying to contact me, it's a no go. So Jim makes, and I love this that Jim's not making the choice because Jim did not want to use it. He wouldn't have used it. It was a very
smart way around it, Dragon. It really was.
That's the thing, because again, I love is it's tying us back to what the show really should be, and kind of about the city and how the city kind of affects or bonds the people. Where Jim makes a choice, to save Gotham versus saving himself. So while again it's and it ties back to the kind of this great thing we had at the beginning of this season, the first half with the Gordon arc, this whole season of it's quite literally. That's the one thing I will give the Buried Alive plot, because it does hit upon this where it's the Gordon philosophy of the House of the House of Gordon. While we have breath in us, we defend. Remember, that was the whole build, and this is the payoff of that. Like, while we have breath in our body, while he can still breathe down there in that box, he's going to defend Gotham City. That's kind of awesome. So then he injects himself, and I'll speak to this because now what he does next is in direct reference to this possibly.
Okay.
I think one of the worst things Batman's ever been through is in this movie called Justice League Doom, in which Bane buries him alive. And he buries him alive in the most horrible way possible. The point is he's buried alive, and we have this thing where Bruce Wayne has to basically using his car keys as like a way of digging himself. He's like punching his way out. He doesn't have super strength. And it's so Tiki, it's such an inspiring moment from that movie. And that always just sticks with me is that putting Gordon in this situation, I wonder if they took influence from just kind of that scene of just having one of your main guys buried alive, having to punch his way out. Essentially, that's what it kind of reminded me. So again, maybe a Batman influence of all the ridiculous scenarios put Jim Gordon maybe was targeted because of that a little.
maybe
you have to figure out some ridiculous.
It's very cathartic to see Jim like punching through the ground and bursting out like a zombie.
I was on the edge of my seat there, and it's like, and this is the point where like, I was like, you wouldn't believe me if I told you this part either. Gordon injects himself with the virus so he can escape, and now he's infected with the virus. I was like going, oh no! I was like with my hands on my head, no, Jim, don't!
God.
He got the enhanced strength, and oh boys, he digs himself out. Like, I love that they frame it like a monster movie, the way he digs his
totally. It's like Night of the Living Dead.
And that's a cool way. Again, this is the much smarter way of doing the monster thing versus what they're doing with Lee. At least with Gordon, we've been building Gordon like with all of season 2.
Because Lee is like just some generic like Morticia Adams meets Poison Ivy. It's just awful.
Again, Lee is we're out of ideas. Jim is like, this thing we've been kind of building since season 2 that Gordon does have a dark side. And of course, we saw it with the Galaman stuff. And here it's just kind of he's fully realizing it. It's like he's always dreaded, and it's kind of this kind of stuff Joker in the comics would tease Gordon for. It's always kind of a dark side.
Definitely.
And again, just seeing, kind of realizing, kind of a cool visual way. This is the benefit of doing all that monster stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So I really like this scene with Penguin. He's going over Dom Falcone, Maroni, even Fish Mooney. They all had their faults, but they lived by a code.
Oh yeah.
And Enigma, Edward Nigma, Barbara Keene, they wouldn't be able to sit at the same table as Dom Falcone.
I love kind of reflect Penguin lamenting on season 1.
It's great. Yeah.
The reason this scene's so good, it's hitting on the sweet spot of the show. This season's done so well. It's hitting upon that sweet spot of hey, let's talk about kind of what the criminal underworld of Gotham, how Gotham kind of works as a city, kind of like that you earn your place at the table sort of mentality.
And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think the Penguin stuff in this show is like by far the most consistent in terms of like continuity and narrative. Like you have a really thorough line from season 1 Penguin to season 3 Penguin.
I mean, absolutely seems like this, like absolutely confirmed for me. This I could buy this Penguin becomes the comic book Penguin we all know. It basically kind of becomes like the top dog of Gotham because he's earned, he's his sense of history and all the stuff he's done in season 1 to get to, this place, and he's just really fighting for it this season. It's like really, oh boys, really nice a little bit there.
I love Ivy's reaction to his really eloquent speech. He's just like, yeah, people are dumb.
Ivy's just turned into so much fun now.
Right.
So let's see. So, basically when crime meant something back in the old days is what he's kind of going through. And then let's see. After the dumb lines.
He's basically saying, like, no more monsters.
It was people are dumb, plants are better, which is such an Ivy line. That's a great line. Yeah, there, keep on.
No more safe houses, no more monsters. I will not run from Edward Nigma. Yeah. And then Selina shows up. She says she has one monster.
Well, no, she doesn't show up. She called.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Ivy's relaying the message, and she's saying that, oh yeah, something called says she found Bridget.
Uh-huh.
And Penguin's all happy until he realizes that, wait a minute, Selena working.
And he figures this out very quickly.
Again, he's shrewd, that Penguin. He's figuring out that, wait a minute, why would Selena call it?
He gets so angry at Ivy, he's just like, you idiot!
This is really
all a setup.
This is gonna be like a bizarre comparison. We've been there before with these bizarre, and this is a really bizarre episode. So I don't think it's
it's
very Peanuts like scenes. It's very much like a Sally losing it online is for like.
Oh God.
This scene like kind of sounds like in a way, just like in these two being like really kind of childish friends in a way. Just, this idea of just like, you block. It's almost like calling him like a blockhead almost. Just you idiot. just calling her out for the fact that she didn't realize. Selena asked very obvious questions that implies a setup to Ivy, which she didn't pick up on. Asking like, how many guns we had, are we alone? And it frustrated Penguin. Again, Penguin's yelling at her, not out of like he's not trying to hurt her, but he's just so darn frustrated with her.
It's like a parent disappointed in their kid. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, it's a setup. And Ivy doesn't believe. Oh no, that wouldn't. This is all.
Selena would never do that unless they offered her money.
Just the brief moment of pause. The timing on this is flawless.
You know why, Dragon? You know why?
Why?
Because we've got to have money.
Yes, Tiki.
Memes. All right.
Unless they offer her money, it's a great gag. And anyway, so the minute that's said, then of course they're boned as Nigma and company arrive.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's see. So Harvey finds Jim's grave and the walkie-talkie needle. He instantly concludes that they've got to get to Union Station.
Meanwhile, the desk sergeant very foolishly announces that all the men, basically they're moving all the men to Union Station right in front of Lee, which leads to a very embarrassingly easy escape, even for the GCPD. Who's just a guy sitting very nonchalantly next to her. She goes for the keys, and with her super strength, again, character who
so bad. It's so bad.
Let me remind everyone, feasibly, if she wanted, she didn't even have to use the key. She could have feasibly.
I know. That's what I was thinking, Dragon.
What I'm saying.
I was thinking that exact same thing as I was watching this. I was like, wait a minute. Didn't we literally just have Gordon have to, like, inject himself? And now we're saying that Lee can't burst through some... No.
We had Barnes had, like, a whole Hannibal Lecter setup.
All right. That's, yeah.
I wrote in my notes and I kind of dot, underline. Come on!
Oh man! All right, we're almost done.
Riddler, of course, Riddler loves to gloat while he has Penguin right where he wants him. And I just love this for the room. This is such a classic Riddler thing, and Penguin's kind of with the ultimate retaliation here. He wants Penguin in his last moments to call him Riddler before his death. And what's so nice about this is the fact that, again, this is my favorite kind of Riddler we're writing here. The Riddler always has to have that one thing. Usually it's like an answer to a riddle, or he needs to know. Of course, there's that Batman I always talk about where he says, I have to know, or he has to know how Batman did that, outwitted him, essentially. And it's like he's so fixated on that sort of stuff. So Riddler being fixated on this, in terms of the show here, he's so fixated on it because, again, the Riddler changed from something he's been building to since the very first episode. He's always been kind of on this path of becoming Riddler, and it's a really big thing for him. And even like the hallucination of Penguin was like chastising him over the Riddler thing. So he's trying to get the real acceptance from the Penguin, like, hey, I'm gonna kill you, but I want you to accept that you're proud of me on some level.
Sure.
One could say,
proud of your boy.
I'm proud of my Cobblepot.
Wow. That joke just it's okay. Anyways.
It's a crazy episode. We can get away with
it. No, I'm just saying. I'm surprised how versatile that joke is.
Proud of your head.
Okay.
Anyway, so then basically we have these put in position of okay, if you say it, quick, they make this quick and painless versus taking hours, days even. Mm-hmm. And of course, Penguin refuses, going for it would just be torture to say that.
All right, slow and painful it shall be.
Of course, Barbara's questioning this. Wait, don't I get a say on this?
Then Tabs is just like, oh, now you know how it feels. And I'm just like, I'm kind of sick of this back and forth drama with Babs and Tabs. I gotta say,
It goes
I'm a
somewhere.
little sick.
You'll see where it goes, but it's
Okay.
you're right. It takes a long time to get there, though.
Yeah.
Yes. So then we have a special guest star.
Oh yeah. Fish Moody enters.
She greets Penguin.
Is that a lack of respect, or is that fear? Or I'm sorry, is that a look of respect, or is that fear?
So I love that the whole room kind of stops and they see Fish Moody because again they recognize the lure of Gotham and Fish in a way.
And then I love Butch. He's just like, hey, Fish, how you been?
Again, that's nice because again, one of my biggest gripes of Fish coming back is that she and Butch had no words with each other.
Exactly.
Finally get a little something because they had such a great
dynamic. Butch, I was alive, and then I was dead, and then I was alive again. So things are looking up, all in all.
Quite the gathering we have.
You have to love Gotham. People always pointing guns at each other.
That is a great line. I got to tell you, I did like kind of the return of. A lot of people are iffy on the return of Fisher. I like the return of Fisher.
I liked her a lot. I really did.
I like this return better than the initial return because this return, it's kind of like I love that Penguin's painted into a corner here, and essentially it's kind of a matchstick moment where how the heck is he going to get out of this?
Right.
And essentially it's like, okay, well he has no way out, and then she arrives and just kind of bails him out. And I love that this pays off this wonderful moment we had with the end of the Fish coming back to life story in the first place, where she won't kill Penguin because Penguin is her creation. She's proud of Penguin,
of her boy.
Yep, she's proud of her boy. Her umbrella boy. She's proud of her umbrella boy. Anyway. No, but seriously, it's like there's a great payoff. We could really love that moment in the very beginning of this season where, again, she just has that connection to the Penguin. It's really paying off here, and that she claims Penguin for herself.
Sure.
And again, in turn, I think the main objective is to save Penguin, also have like an ally going forward.
Mm-hmm. Woman always knew how to make an entrance.
Yep. I love she has this great kind of moment of acknowledgement for Enigma. Oh, looks like we have a new player.
Right.
And after the entrance, then we have a Union Station evac going on.
All right, so an officer tries to apprehend Gordon, and he just throws him across the station.
Okay, this is I do really laugh at that moment because it's the old business. It's so funny because while the virus, it is a very serious thing for Jim. It gets the virus side of Jim does get really good. At least the Jim side of it gets really good. In the Lee side, you'll see what happens at points. This is just like a funny introduction because it's Gordon it's the all business. Jim Gordon doesn't have time to address the uniforms, but he's like all business. He's like going to literally unnecessarily throw the guy across the room.
Right.
It's like basically it's like a nuts action movie thing. I'm gonna punch a guy so I can get there today. Because again, it's the virus. He's getting used to the virus and he's trying to. It's kind of a funny little exaggerated Gordon mannerism. Okay, so it's time for Bruce to press the button.
Mm-hmm.
Let Gotham fall, so you may rise. Great lines.
The fire rises.
Yes, fire rises.
Okay. So
Alfred interrupts.
All right, Kane. All right. So Alfred arrives just in time. Whatever he's told you, Bruce, he's lying. I won't have him turn you into a murderer.
Jim's running upstairs. He takes out a town with ease. And I love that. That's the thing I love with the Super Show. He instantly can take like a town like has at him, and so he's like kind of amazed, like what this usually works. And it takes him down. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the.
I just got to say I love the way these last few minutes are like intercut between Gordon and Alfred. It's pretty good editing.
Oh yeah. Well, also, again, it kind of hits upon the thing of the show where it's always kind of Jim and Bruce's story, which, of course, kind of the year one thing. It's always Jim and Batman's story. It's kind of
right. So Alfred, he's saying, if you press that detonator, there's no coming back. He's weak, but you are not. Give me the detonator, son.
Oh yes, and Alfred's hitting all the right notes here. He's trying to bring back kind of these, and that's the thing we're going to be really doing with Alfred going forward here. We're just going to be really just trying to bring Bruce back from this.
Mm-hmm.
To the Sensei, essentially in this moment where Sensei seeing yet more hesitation on Bruce, who it forces his hand here, where the Sensei then presses the buttons. And importantly, they don't miss this going forward. The Sensei is the one who pushed the button, not Bruce. Alfred then shoots him, ideally before he pushed the button, but he had to shoot him. The bomb is then activated. The bomb's inactivated before Jim can defuse it because he has like a few seconds, like I don't know, maybe 30 seconds. Before Jim can defuse it, Lee arrives to gum up the works.
Oh god! Oh god!
Then the dying sensei, and oh my god, I lost it with this reference. Like, oh my god, yes, they said the line. Or the dying sensei whispers to Bruce, "You seek the young building, or basically you seek the young building, and find the demon's head." When he said the demon's head, oh my god, we're finally doing Racial Ghoul. Yes! Oh boy, that's great. Fulfill your destiny, and fulfill your destiny, and he dies. And we have very angry Bruce who's attacking Alfred.
Oh, this is a powerful moment right here. Yeah, he's like just going after Alfred. Gets apprehended by the police. Yeah.
It's a heartbreaking thing for Alfred to have to endure because again, seeing Bruce in such a lost state where he's mourning over a man who brainwashed him. And Alfred goes through a lot of stuff here, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Lee is telling Jim to come and find her when he's ready. It's only a matter of time. And I will say this: while I'm not crazy about Lee's stake and all this, I do love this as an ending. I gotta say, I really do.
It is a good ending. You're right about that.
The bomb detonates. We have the red plume spreading across the Union Station and outward to the city. Bruce tells Alfred, it's too late. Gotham has basically Gotham has fallen, as we see. It's chaos. We see in the last image of the episode, it's chaos amidst a red cloud of madness in Gotham. So literally, madness has swept through. Madness has claimed Gotham essentially.
Yeah, and that's essentially the cliffhanger for the season finale, because of course the season finale is structured. It's like a big, crazy, like 2-part, But yeah, okay, so that is Pretty Hate Machine. One thing before we get to final thoughts, Dragon, please tell me, what does Pretty Hate Machine mean as a title? Is it the bomb?
Honestly, I'll tell you this: the titles are really kind of weird.
Is it the virus?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, really, honestly, I gotta tell you, the titles really don't make much sense.
I see the title of the finale is Heavy Dirty Soul, all one word.
I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But the Pretty Little Hate Machine, it's really I like that.
It's a good title, like it's catchy.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to be the bomb when the title was announced, but it really wasn't. There's not really any like machinery that becomes involved. It's I think
it's a reference to the bomb.
All I can really say is that I can only assume that the rationale is that it's kind of Lee thinking of Jim as a pretty little hate machine. Basically, it's Jim Gordon as a pretty little hate machine.
Okay.
That's the only rationale I have. So I got to read. I guess when we go through, maybe I'll remember. But I tell you, I really don't think there's much to it aside from.
All right. So with that, Dragon, let's get to some final thoughts. Or wait, I guess. Yeah, my guessing game. Sure. Okay. Oh God. Okay, so I get 3 guesses. So let's see. Oh, this is always let's see. Okay, I'm definitely sensing that we're gonna get some Selena and Tabitha stuff. Like that, those two are finally gonna fulfill their whole she's gonna mentor her in some way.
You're getting warm.
I'm getting warm. Okay. With Lee, oh God, I honestly think that I don't see how there's a way out with Lee. I really don't. Fuck it, I'm gonna say she's dead.
Getting colder.
Okay. All right, so Lee's dead. Let's see. And I'm gonna say by the end of the season, Bruce Wayne is gonna come to with Alfred, but it's gonna be a really hard road getting there, and we're gonna have some pretty emotional stuff come out of that.
You're very, very warm, and oh boy, you have no idea how hard a run that's gonna be.
Okay, awesome. So, all right, the final thoughts. Well, this was an episode. Dragon, I gotta say it really does ramp up towards the end, like when we've got the tension of getting Gordon out of the box, and then I think basically everything from from Gordon taking the virus onward is pretty good. But it's just like there's a lot of just confused. Like there's this episode is like a prime example of the show having too many characters. Like it's probably like the go-to example for me of this show having too many characters. It's very convoluted. The Lee stuff is just terrible. It's definitely got some good moments. The ending is great. And as we've said, Alfred and Bullock were on fire the whole episode. But yeah, just a very, very, very mixed bag of an episode, Dragon. I have a feeling this one's going to be rather infamous for us down the line.
Well, here's the thing. Again, I like there are elements of this episode I really enjoyed. And again, the ending is a big kind of really big, awesome kind of gutsy ending. I mean, I'm just impressed by, again, just that matchstick of an ending you have there. Again, less the Penguins say with the matchstick moment. I really want to say the matchstick kind of usage for the ending. Absolutely is a matchstick moment. This idea of just like how you're assuming we're going to disarm the bomb and everything will be fine like the skin of our teeth, but oh my god, it's like everything horrible is happening at the very end, and it's kind of this. It summarizes the purpose of the show in many ways. It's like Gotham needs and creates a Batman with an ending like that, and I really like they're really sticking to the guns of what the series should be with an ending like that.
Sure.
And on the whole, just two things I guess to weigh in on. I really do like just with that, just connecting to the ending. I guess is that. I do like how we've kind of built up the madness angle. I wish we didn't have like the silly kind of subtitles that keep changing. Like the rise of
that's ridiculous. Don't get me started on that.
My point is like sticking with Mad City. They should have stuck with that because thematically that sticks for this season. I'm saying if they're going to do anything, because it is what I'm getting at with the whole thing is that we built in this thing of madness with the Mad Hatter as kind of our main predominant arc in the beginning. Mm-hmm. You have monsters and you get the Mad Hatter, a lot of madness there, and of course madness with Jerome the Joker, and of course we build here where the madness is physicalized. We do like the theme of madness striking Gotham and making things crazy, which of course is that's kind of the transitioning point we've been through from season 1 to this point where Gotham's becoming the freaks the freaks start to enter in the latter half of season 2, and especially all over this season. This is when the freaks are invading Gotham, and it's shaping up to be the more colorful rogues gallery influenced, just kind of corrupt, crime-ridden cities, and Gotham's become a much more interesting place by season 3. And this madness is kind of like a parade for all kind of the notable Batman stuff to enter. So, I mean, I'm liking thematically what we're doing there. I just wish, that's what they're also trying to do with the Lee thing in some regards. They're trying to connect it to the madness idea.
Right. And
in doing so, I just think they kind of went too off the rails with it. So, obviously, Lee is definitely the big downer of the episode. The Lee stuff's just really bad. But I want to speak to the court here in the episode. So, of course, this is the last time we're going to see the Corvallis in the season. Because essentially they're killed off here, and
right.
So I thought let's reflect on the Corvallis just for a moment. It's a shame to see the court go, yes, but they can always come back because that's always the thing with the Corvallis. Even in the book,
there's always more of them. Ooh.
Absolutely, so they could always bring back. And of course, we have Doppelbruce who could honor the Corvallis and keep it going.
Of course.
And regardless, what the way it very much.
And it is a pretty dramatic ending for them just being slaughtered like that.
It is, and also the thing to take in mind, because I've heard some people kind of gripe that the Corvallis is kind of wasted. I'm going to argue against that because the Corvallis, I think it
I mean, I don't think it was like 100% exactly what we wanted it to be based on our speculation, but I think they got more right with it than they got wrong.
Certainly. What I'm getting at here is like for any of the naysayers for the court really didn't like nothing like the book. I'm going to say this. I mean, the way the book panned out for the court, it ends in essentially in somewhat the same way. The court brings a revelation. The Corvallis story does build to that point where I'm sorry. The whole point of the Corvallis book is that this is something Batman discounted, like a whole secret society. Batman and the whole of Gotham never thought existed. It was like something just under his nose the whole time that Batman felt so stupid for not seeing.
Right.
And it brought about even in the last kind of moments of the book, there was a big revelation that kind of rocks the foundation of your world. That's the idea there. And that's kind of what we have here, that the Corvallis, in the book, it was like the whole Lincoln March thing. In here, it's like the whole League of Assassins thing. So basically, there's like a revelation that there's something even worse and bigger, something that connects you on an even more personal level, which we'll definitely find out going forward. I won't give too much away. But, it's the idea that and importantly, just what the takeaway from the core values. I'm saying it shaped up a lot like the book in certain respects, but also it's the big takeaway from introducing the core values this season. It got the show on point to what it should be, again, kind of being about the city and how it affects people, like the outset. Again, it took it to a Snyderian level, and I think that has helped.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. For sure.
I'm always going to be grateful that we do get the core values. At least we got them in there, and they were serviceable to the on the surface with the core values. So that's good. On the whole, for the episode, again, it's really crazy. We get some good moments in. It's just, but it's really crazy. I think I think the next two episodes are better than this. But I mean, it's a 3-part crazy ride. So it's going to be hard to kind of.
So at least it's not at least it's not boring crazy like the Peter Petrelli arc of season 1.
Right. So I'm just saying we're going off the rails in a big way, and this episode has its moments. Just it's the least stuff really takes its shots at the episodes. Okay. All
right, take us out.
Remember, kids, no matter how dark and scary the world may be right now, there will be light. There will be light.
Until next time when we go exploring Gotham yet again. 5 o'clock? That's in like 20 minutes. And this porridge was just right.
Proud of your boy.